That's a big bike for such a little girl. I'm Z883 and welcome to the Lowdown episode 8. Her name is Callie. So we have a Screaming Eagle 131. We also have an S&S Stinger air cleaner, as well as the Sidewinder race only exhaust from S&S. I have a nice tail whip from LaPera. Got the Thrashing handlebars as well as the 6.5-inch pullback riser. Oh, and the Memphis Shades 6.5-inch windshield. I'm in love with it. Yeah, it dynos at 140 and 140. My biggest pet peeve is that that's a big bike for such a little girl. I swear I get that all the time. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. We stopped at this one place in Dahlonega, which is a city close to us, and I got on my bike and this older lady basically said that's such a big bike for such a little girl. And I don't care whether you're 5 foot or 6 foot. Like, your height doesn't matter. It just matters that you're able to handle it, that you are confident on that bike, and that you can maneuver it fairly well. I mean, I know some guys that can't even back their bikes up sometimes, so that's always going to be an issue whether you're tall or short. But if you can handle that bike for the most part 95% of the time, that's what matters. I originally got into riding because Chuck bought his first Harley, which was the V-Rod Muscle 2016, and I rode on the back of it a couple of times, and I decided I just needed to have my own bike. So I took the MSF course and knew immediately I wanted to ride. Went out and got my bike like 3 days later, and it was a Harley Davidson Iron 883, hence Z883. My advice, first off, I think that it's very important to know if you want to ride a bike before you just go out and spend thousands of dollars on a motorcycle. Take the MSF course. That will get you into knowing, you'll get you on a bike, you'll know if you can handle a bike. They typically give you, I went to the Honda course, so I rode a Honda Grom, actually. But after you take the course and you pass it and you can get your endorsement, go out and test ride several bikes. Don't just, if you have your eye on a bike, that's fine if you know what you want, but test ride several bikes to see if, if it's you can handle it. Obviously, when they come stock, they're not going to be, fit to you exactly. So don't think about the bike as far as it being stock exactly what you're going to be riding all the time, because you're going to have to do some customizations. For me, I had to lower my bike a little bit on the Sportster when I first got it, and switch out the handlebars, that sort of thing, to ride comfortably. My Road Glide is stock height, so I'm a little bit tippy-toed a little bit on it, but it's comfortable for me and I can handle it. So if you're a smaller rider and you want to get into performance baggers or something a little bit bigger, having taller boots helps. So I always ride with 2 to 3 inch heels on my boots. Actually, ride a bike, learn the bike before you hop onto a new bike. I think that learning how to ride, learning how to do slow maneuvers and things like that is super important. That's actually where you'll get kind of caught up, is when, not speed, because speed you can keep the bike straight up, but when you're doing U-turns, when you're parking, when you're just coming to a stop, those are the things that are gonna make or break you riding the bike. So just make sure that you have that down pat, that you practice. I practice all the time. and using that rear brake is going to help a lot too on the slow maneuvers. So for me, learning how to ride on a smaller bike actually helped when I graduated to a bigger bike, so that I wasn't trying to learn slow maneuvers and all of that on a bigger bike and having that anxiety of dropping the bike right away. So I learned pretty much the base core of my riding skills came from the Sportster, which I had for 4.5 years. So I really got to know that bike, and it gave me the confidence to get on a bigger bike and be able to handle it and control it. So after I graduated from the Sportster, I got a Lowrider S, which kind of looks similar to this Lowrider. Is this a Lowrider S? Yeah. So it's a 2020. So the Lowrider S was actually very simple to ride after I, had that much time with the Sportster. So it was fast, it was comfortable, it had the nice, I got a Memphis shade fairing to keep the wind and all of that off of me. But that was one of my favorite times, going from the Sportster to the Lowrider S. It was easy to handle, very, very nimble. It had like a lot more features to it. It wasn't, I could see my gas mileage. I could see, I put cruise control on it, and also souped it up to the 131 engine with a 550 S&S cam. And it had some pop. I think I was pushing 145 horsepower and 158 torque on that bike. So it was a pretty sweet, fast bike. I personally like a bigger motor in the bike just because I want that extra torque, I want the extra pop, and being able to, get up to speed really quickly. On the stock Lowrider, it was pretty torquey and pretty poppy, but it's not for everybody. Going to a bigger engine, you don't necessarily need it. The newer bikes have, the 114s, the 117s, and they ride perfectly well. But if you're a little bit more of a adrenaline junkie, it might do you some good to get a bigger engine. But just note that not all engine builders are the same. You have to be able to trust your engine builder. You have to be able to trust that they're going to get you, that long term, that you'll be able to ride that bike for long periods of time, that longevity in the engine, and that it's not going to overheat or break down on you every 5 minutes. So if you're going to a bigger engine, really know who your engine builder is and really be able to trust that person or those people to do a good job on your bikes. Fortunately, we do have great engine builder down in Atlanta, so never had any issues with our 131s on the Lowrider S's, nor on our Road Glides. So personally, I feel that going from a stock engine to a 131, I went with a build-up. I didn't do a crate engine, only because we were able to tweak it to where it had enough power. It got better numbers that way. You can build up, you can put extra the newer cams in there, the 550, the 425s, whatever you want to do. But personally, I like building up instead of just having a straight stock crate engine. So up until this point, I feel like our favorite trip was Sturgis, 2022. We went last year, and it was just a great all-around motorcycle experience. We had fun with we met a lot of motorcycle people. It was a mecca of motorcycles there in Sturgis. It's something that I think any rider should experience, whether you ride a Harley, whether you ride an Indian or a Honda. Just go out there, experience Sturgis, and not just the rally part of it, it's the riding that I loved. It was going through Needles, it was going through Iron Mountain Road, seeing Mount Rushmore, Spearfish Canyon. I think that was actually my favorite, was Spearfish Canyon. Iron Mountain Road is a really great road too in Sturgis, because it has these pigtails. I have never ridden on a pigtail before. And that's just the turn that just keeps going like this, like a corkscrew kinda. It was insane. I was yelling in my helmet. I was like, oh my God, is this ever gonna end? Just going through. And then it has these two two-way lanes that you basically are on this small concrete path, and there's nothing but bush on the side of it, like forest. So you can't veer off that path or you'll be done. But it was really fun. It was a really great experience. Definitely overrated. Definitely overrated. The Tail of the Dragon, I think when I wrote it the first time, I'd hyped it up so much in my head that I was very nervous. And if you're super nervous going into those turns, you can definitely crash, because you know there's a lot of activity on that road. There's bikes, there's cars, there are trucks, so you have to be super focused. And so take it slow the first time if you haven't ridden tight curves like that. But generally speaking, there are other places like in North Georgia where we live and where we ride that are much better rides than the Tail of the Dragon. But I think that if it's something that you want to do, go ahead and go for it. Do it, try it out one time. We've been on it multiple times just because we have friends that want to go up there. We want to show them around. Right there near the Tail of the Dragon is Cherahalla Parkway, which I feel is much a better ride because it's long sweeping turns. And it's just very, very beautiful scenery around and very open and wide. But the Tail of the Dragon, I mean, if you want to try it out, go for it. But I think that there are better places to ride. All right, so those of you who don't know who the Litas are, we are a women's motorcycle collective, and it's worldwide. It's founded by Jessica Wise, who's in Salt Lake City, Utah. And she founded this motorcycle collective. It's not a club or anything like that. It's just a group of women. It's all inclusive to women riders who, you know, want to have a little community. We get together once a month for a ride or just mix and mingle, get to meet new members of the group. And we have members joining every week, every month. So it gets to be pretty big sometimes. We have 30 women or 40 women at a time. And then sometimes it's just a handful of women that get together. But it's just something really near and dear to my heart. But it's really empowering just to ride down the road with like 40 women on motorcycles, all different types, Harleys, Hondas, Indians, sport bikes, and we're just taking over the city, riding through, going on rides, you know, to eat food and just to hang out and have a good time. And I've met some really good friends of mine through that group. So I helped start the Litas Atlanta in 2018. So this will be coming up on our 5-year anniversary in August. So. This season, we're going to head out to Harley-Davidson 120th anniversary in Milwaukee. So we'll be attending that Thursday through Sunday, July 13th through the 16th, I believe. And then right after that, after the 120th anniversary in Milwaukee, we'll be heading to Sturgis for Sturgis 23. And we'll be there for about a week, get there a little bit early so that we can get some great riding in. And then after that, we're going to do the Tennessee, I believe it's V2 and Visionary at Smoky Mountain. So we'll do that in the fall. And then some other rides around, you know, I'm a part of the Litas Atlanta, so we do a lot of riding monthly. We'll go on trips, so yes. And we'll have our new Road Glide STs done by then, hopefully. And we'll be debuting those at Sturgis. It's really cool being here in Brooklyn, in New York City. It's a great experience here. Running into FXDLS Brooklyn, his awesome freaking sweet bike. Shout out to Chuck, the love of my life, my heart. He's out here too. And we're getting ready so check us out on YouTube. It's Chuck and Z. We have a podcast we're doing here regularly, weekly. It's really fun just getting to know some of the motorcycle community, whether they are local or they live in different states. We're trying to connect with them, learn something about them, see what they do on the side. So it's really fun experience these days doing that podcast. I'm really enjoying it. We'll have different people on there, so stay tuned. But Chuck and Z on YouTube, And then just follow me on Instagram, ZEE883. Z883 out. Like, we're at the airport. Yeah, that Challenger is pretty quiet. It's an S6T.
Where you guys are coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that?
I feel like I need to keep this in the video. It's a great experience. It's blaring noise.
What is that? Is that a truck? All right, I'm gonna try to talk over it. Man, everybody's coming out of the woodworks. Do 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 do.